What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
And it's caught in the end zone for a touchdown by Xavier Diaz. A great throw. Diaz wide open. That was a little suspect there. Welcome back, everybody, to Guzman's Gridiron, presented by the Red and Gray Gridiron Group and Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm Kyle Bennett, joined each and every week by the namesake of the show, Coach Jose Guzman, head coach of Vineland High School football coach. First one in the books. Congratulations.
It's done, Kyle. We could say that, we put that behind us, and the kids showed up in a big way. Big
time win, 24-0 over St. Joe's Hamilton in a non-traditional way to rack up 24 points because
see, everything happens on this show. You just don't see it. It's okay.
The magic behind the magic.
The magic in.
A non-traditional way to rack up 24 points, two safeties in this game. Let's start there. The special teams unit, we talked about it last week. A couple new faces kind of leading that special teams unit. Two safeties in one game at the high school level is nothing to sneeze at. Take me through just those two plays in particular and how you were able to kind of drive St. Joe's all the way back and kind of force them into the back of their own end zone.
I could tell you this much. Ryan Shelton, Henry Garton, they have the makings to be these masterminds now for us as far as special teams. They're doing a really great job for us. And of course, it was a point in the game where we really needed that spark. We needed a spark because it was a lot of going back and forth, nobody scoring, right? And all of a sudden, the wheels on the bus just started going round and round. And I can't be prouder of them two guys. They're putting together. The special teams units are just solid for us because of them. So I'm very proud of them.
And in multiple phases, special teams came up clutch. Yes. Led to your first touchdown with a huge return on the safety punt from Saquon Anderson, which we talked about it on the broadcast, Rich Scarpa and I, that the way that Xavier Diaz and Saquon Anderson being your return men all season, which I'm sure is the hope and the goal there,
right,
with how dynamic they are, just changes the outlook, not only for you guys, but the way that your opponents have to kind of think and methodically plot for their kickoff scenarios, because those two are just pure athletes. And the way that they were able to not only use their speed, but their vision in particular, when they were returning the football all Thursday night, you saw them looking for the seams, looking for their blocks, looking for the holes that they could kind of squeeze through and use their speed to kind of get between defenders. that was one of the biggest standout performances for me, was the return game with both Saquon and Xavion.
Again, these two gentlemen, they're just a spark. They're such a spark, offensively and defensively. And they lead the way by example. These are example guys. They're not really rah-rah guys. They're just example guys. We love them back there because they both offer you difference in their approach, but they're both dynamic. They can do special things, speed, vision downfield, low pad level when they're about to get hit. I mean, they do all the little intricate things right. I can't be proud enough to, these men. These two men are just special.
And to stay with Xavion, he made some spectacular catches in this game. One that led to a touchdown, but the one that stood out to me that Sylvester Schifalaglio put on the VHS Rowdy Twitter account. Check that out. We'll plug it in here as well. That sideline catch was one of the best catches from a high school athlete I have seen in a long time. His just body control to keep his feet in bounds, the way that he worked that seam to stay along the sideline and move the sticks for you guys, was, my jaw was on the ground. Like, I could not believe that he was able to control his body well enough to stay in bounds like that, come down with the football and everything. It was like I had already believed in Xavion as an athlete, and It was just like, oh, you just leveled up again in my book, because that was a spectacular catch.
Again, a dynamic player, dynamic leader, and kudos to the freshman too, Isiah Calderon. That ball was, you couldn't put it any more perfect for the receiver to make a play on the ball. I always tell my older guys, especially, but I tell the whole group, of course, make our young quarterback right. Make him right. Sometimes the ball's not going to be perfect, so you've got to adjust your body to make him right. And he did. Ever so spectacular, didn't he? I mean, that was a spectacular catch. Not to mention the catch he had in double coverage in the end zone. I mean, this kid, special. And beware of that quarterback, because that young man is coming. He has grit, determination, poise, took a shot early, still got up and slung that ball to who? Mr. Diaz on the receiving end. Just this team's coming together little by little, but it's coming together, Kyle.
Well, let's talk about number 11, Isiah Calderon, your freshman quarterback, who we talked about last week. Traditionally, Vineland High School football, and you're a freshman, you're not really getting a chance to start in the old guard of the way that Vineland's football program produced. It was like you earn your stripes, you move up the ranks through freshman, JV to varsity. You had a number of freshman contributors, which we'll talk about throughout the rest of the show, but Isiah, as a freshman quarterback, no less, looked like he's been starting for the last 3 years. He looked like a senior out there, just the way that he was cool, calm, collected. The first, 2 drives, I would say, I think the freshman nerves were a little bit there, and, the drives weren't going exactly as you guys had planned, but then that safety happens. You get a little confidence, and then Elijah's like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
And he's slinging the football 45 yards down the field with ease. It was one of the smoothest throwing motions I've seen from a Vineland quarterback in a long time. Talk to me about Isiah Calderon, because, the hope is obviously he's your starter for the next 4 years, and he grows and develops into an elite high school level quarterback and then can go on to the next level. But talk to me about just the process of getting him ready, throughout the offseason, and what the decision-making process was like to say, hey, we're going to put our eggs in the basket of a freshman to lead us on offense at the quarterback position, and then to see the fruits of the offseason labor come full send in game number 1 had to be such an awesome feeling for you guys.
We can't be more proud of that kid. I mean, for a young rookie to come in at the high school level and produce the way he's producing day in and day out in practice, you see it. I mean, he's special. He's special. And not to mention, he had people on his coattails. Like, his coattails were right there. They were ringing because he had the likes of Antoine Witt. This kid can sling the ball too. He can sling it. Deep ball, short passes. He can sling it. Then you have Gage Gallo, veteran in the game, very poised, knows where he's going with the ball. He
Knows
had
the
it.
system.
Yeah, knows the system already, in and out. You know, so he had a couple guys right on his curtails. But guess what? By the slightest of margins, he won out. I had brought all three into the office when the staff made that decision, and I'm a stand-up guy. I'm gonna talk to my guys like stand-up men, and I told them the truth. You know, I love all your play. Every single one of you have a different dynamic that you bring to the team. However, the winner of you know, the quarterback showdown is the freshman Elijah Calderon, and I want you guys as upperclassmen to back this man up and still keep the high level of play, because as you know in football, you're one play away from being the starting quarterback, the starting
Which we
running
saw
back.
early last year.
You know what I mean? It happens. So if you don't stay sharp and you don't push him to gain his sharpness, right? We're only going to plateau. We don't want to plateau. We want to keep going. So they answered that call for me, you know, and Antoine and Gage. They're out there, I mean, battling. It seems like the quarterback battle hasn't stopped yet. They're just battling out there every day, giving it their all. You know, Ray Fitton, our quarterback coach, is doing a great job. You know, even my guy, you know, Chris Vizo, another volunteer, just a great guy to have on the phone to go ahead and rally opinions back and forth with. And we utilize all that data, compile it. I give it to Coach Ray. I give it to, of course, the OC, Coach Hendricks, you know. And then they formulate their plan. They go about their business. And again, I can't say enough about that quarterback room. It's special. And in Elijah's play, he's playing beyond his years. He really is. And I'm not saying it because he's our guy. You see it on film. After the game, just a tidbit, you know, my brother Ronnie didn't talk to me that night. And that's fine. It's not a problem. Even he knows, even if it was me, I probably wouldn't have not called that night. But I'll tell you what, that next morning we were on the phone together. And one of the things was, who's that quarterback of yours? You know, I was like, he's a freshman. He goes, he's a freshman? I said, yeah, he's a freshman. He goes, he's the real deal. He's good. I said, thanks, man. So that makes me feel good in our approach to the game. It makes me feel good in how I got, you know, the right guys to be behind our kids and Coach Fitton. He's doing a great job with them quarterbacks, and I can't say enough about him.
And I think one of the things that stood out to me, too, was just not only the poise, but the poise when Elijah would just roll out. And the ability to throw on the run was spectacular. It's not like he was off balance, stayed on his feet, was able to get the ball out. I think maybe the entirety of the game, Rich and I were talking, there was maybe 3 off-the-mark throws. One of them was that interception,
Right.
and then one kind of went in between 2 potential receivers, and
Right.
then there was one other pass. But most of the night, everything was on the
Spot
money,
on.
or the receiver came back to make a play to make it,
Make 'em
so
right.
that you guys extended the drive and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was an impressive debut for Elijah Calderon. And, you had a number of freshmen starting
Absolutely.
on Thursday night, and
Absolutely.
one of them had a jersey miscue, which I think might have been the first we've seen in a while, and it was something that stood out to me. I was like, he's listed at a different position, so it makes
Yes.
sense why he has that number. But the nice thing is when you're looking at an offensive line and you're not really saying their names and it's a brand new line group, I thought the offensive line played a spectacular first game together.
They did great. You know, kudos to the offensive line. Kudos to my offensive line coaches. You know, Sammy G, and of course, you know, Coach Gilbert. Just great guys. And also, I want to take this opportunity to go ahead and apologize to, you know, both of them young men, Brandon Bedoya Lopez and Aiden Zincraft. I want to apologize to them, and it was unfortunate. It was a spur-of-the-moment thing where we had to switch the jerseys. I know that we're doing our due diligence to get the stats changed because Brandon got gifted with, you know, 2 tackles that was really Aiden's tackles. And I know optics weren't the best either. You know, we were taking off a kid's jersey, switching it. So I apologize on behalf of myself, the coaching staff, to those 2 young men and their families. You know, but just know it wasn't out of malice.
Right.
It was game time decision. We love both them young men, you know, And you're going to be hearing that name for real a little bit more in Brandon Bedoya. He's a great kid, great worker, and of course Aiden.
They both played spectacular games too.
I mean, they're great kids, and again, I just wanted to take that time and opportunity to go ahead and say, we're sorry as a staff.
It's a week 0 thing. It
yeah,
happens.
Yeah,
and when a player's listed at tight end and linebacker, that's a number that they can traditionally wear.
Yes.
And when you have to make that call that, hey, we need you at this position, it's high school. You don't have the plethora of jersey numbers available at your disposal to go like an NFL team would, or even a college team at this point.
Right.
So
right.
It happens.
Yep.
And
we're going to make sure it never happens, though, again.
It didn't fluster either of them one bit in that game. And, I mean, for a brand new line to play the way they did in front of Elijah and have very few mistakes, optically at least, from the booth perspective, it wasn't like we were like, oh, man, he's missing his defender there. He's missing a block. They're not sealing that hole there. I was impressed by the way that they were able to, just stand up, guard that defensive line, guard the linebackers and everything in their first game together in real game action as a unit. That's a hell of a way to debut.
Again, the line was, poised and ready. Our coaches had them, ready and willing to do whatever it took to make sure that young man and Elijah Calderon, for him not to get touched back there. I mean, I'll tell you another thing about that young man in Calderon. I don't know if you noticed at the beginning, right? He took a shot on their sideline. I mean, a shot. But I don't know how he sprouted right back up immediately. When you see kids that go through that at that level of play, which he's a freshman, right? And you see him just get right back up like nothing just happened, the makings of something special is on its way with that kid. I'm telling you. And I'm not just saying it because he's our guy. Keep watching this kid. He's special. He's a special kid. So the kudos again to that offensive line and our offensive line coaches. They did an excellent job.
And speaking of special, our friends at Allen Associates, pretty darn special. And Guzman's Gridiron is brought to you in part by our friends at Allen Associates. And if you're looking for a reliable and experienced insurance agency that caters to all your needs, just like Vineland's new offensive line there, that insurance policy for Elijah, look no further than Allen Associates Insurance Services. With over 6 decades of experience under their belt, they specialize in health insurance, financial services, and accounting. And whether you're a part of the public or private sector, they have got you covered. Their family-owned business currently helps upwards of 300 groups throughout New Jersey, providing them with the best insurance options available. You can easily learn more and access their services by visiting their newly renovated website, which is up on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, or it is linked in the description of both the audio and video version of the episode. So join the family and let them help you secure your future. Contact them today online or call 856-692-2250. That's 856-692-2250. And big thank you to Allen Associates for sponsoring Guzman's Gridiron.
Thank you.
Coach, let's talk about, just the way that the offense, as soon as you guys got going, it felt like that was the moment that safety really was the domino effect, and you guys were able to find yourselves with pristine field position pretty much the entire game. I think there was maybe 1, maybe 2 drives at most where you started inside St. Joe's 30-yard line.
Right.
That is a recipe for success. And again, a kudos to the special teams unit
100%.
for setting you guys up, and kudos to the defense for getting stops when they needed to in prime field position for you to set your freshman quarterback up for success. You want to make things easy on somebody who's making their first career varsity start as a 14, 15-year-old kid. Give them half the field to work with, not the entire field. And I think that was another huge point of emphasis on the broadcast, and that I took away from the game was just the way that you guys were able to manipulate field position was so key.
Again, have my hats off to my special teams guys. Ryan and Henry are doing an excellent job. And it's nice in knowing that Marcelino for us did an excellent job. And now these 2 young men, and all 3 of them played for me, man. It's just it makes me feel right. It makes me feel good, man, that our guys are coming back and giving back in a grand way. So kudos to them. Without that, it's a third of the game, right? Special teams is a third of the game. Without that field position, we might be looking at something different. Who knows? Maybe the freshman quarterback gets more flustered. Maybe he has, decision making process isn't as clear, isn't there. But because we were in such good field position, because of our special teams and our defensive play, he was able to rack up some pretty good numbers as a freshman for his first game.
And I think, we talked about Xavier a little bit. We'll talk about him more, too, offensively. But I think one thing that also stood out to me is just, like, the growing pains but in-game adjustments was Elijah throwing the ball to Mark Mutcherson. Much is such a seasoned veteran on this team, has been here forever. And there was a couple throws that you could tell Much was like, I should have had that. Right. I want that. I want that back, not only for me, but for you, to make sure that you have confidence throwing the ball to me. And you kind of saw them connecting like cerebrally with that throughout the game. And there was maybe 2 catches that Much certainly knows he should have had, and made the best effort on the next time the ball was thrown to him to make the best of those opportunities, and he certainly did. Talk to me about, we mentioned it a little bit last week with a new quarterback coming in, how valuable it is to have veteran skill position players. That connection feels like it's something that is huge, with Much having played the quarterback position a little bit at JV, played it on the varsity level as a backup.
Yes.
Talk to me about that connection and how well Elijah and Mark have connected offensively.
Again, Mark, Much, he's one of my guys, man. He's a senior, just a great soul. This is a hardworking kid. He dots his I's, crosses his T's. And he's one of those quiet leaders on the field. Also leads by example. And you're absolutely right. He should have had a couple more. Those drops should have never happened. He knows that. But you saw that he has a quick memory. He's like, okay, I dropped them. I'm not dropping these next. Football's getting thrown my way. And again, you saw that natural, organic connection between him and Elijah starting to grow. And he supports his quarterback. Now, if you really think about that, right, you have this senior cast of perimeter players, right, and Saquon and Xavier and Mark, Afanador, right, Mason, and like these guys are supporting a freshman. If that doesn't tell you a lot about this team, it's really family, man. When you walk in our locker room, that word family is engraved in the wall, okay? And it's for a reason, because I treat these kids, all of our coaches treat these kids like family. But it's neat to see that family aspect go ahead and ooze into their own bloodline, right? Like, wait, we're all family. So I'm gonna play for you. I'm going to play for you, and I'm going to make sure that every play that you have on this field with me, you're going to make the most of it, because I'm going to do all the little things to make sure that you're right. And these guys are doing those things for him. So, hats off to the senior class, man. They're really leading the way by example. It's nice.
And the fun part about this game, too, you had 2 rushing touchdowns, which we'll get into as well. But I'm sure Coach T.O. has to be just like a kid on Christmas with the stable of running backs that you have available, because, ladies and gentlemen, Charles Clark was not even dressed for this game.
Nope.
And the running game was sensational. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when Charles is ready to go. Talk to me about this running back room, because the diversity of play style that they all have, the way that they see the field is unbelievable. And the fact that you have Elijah Calderon being able to throw the ball the way that he did,
right,
and have a run game the way that you have, I don't know, that sounds like a full course operation of success when you can throw and run the ball the way that you guys were able to.
Again, Coach Hendricks, our offensive guys, not to mention defensive guys, because we're all in this together, and we're always trying to see, when we go in an offensive room, to talk for the offense, I have my defensive guys there trying to figure out a way to, well, that play's not going to work because we'll run this. So we're always piggybacking off of each other. So kudos to that offensive room. Coach Hendricks is doing an excellent job. But as far as T.O., the man-child, Mr. Davon Seymour, I am so happy to have him on staff. I mean, I love this kid, young man now. He just does a great job. He's passionate about his work. He was a great excellent running back himself. And he, as you said, he has a stable of backs. It's just, and it's pretty neat because it's like you see this bear and Omar Davis, and then you have, so he's the bear, and then you have, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but if he's the bear, then you have the little cub, right?
Yep.
And Georgie Figueroa, who's
So
dynamic, fast, quick twitch, right? He's in and out of now.
He's like Flubber bouncing off the wall
in
with
and out.
just like the way that he finds his way through the tackles, and when he gets in open space, I'm excited to watch him run.
The kid is fast, and the kid is not scared to run that rock. He's just not. Georgie's going to be dynamic. He got a little banged up, his ankle. He'll be back. He'll be all right.
NFL comparison, it reminded me of Darren Sproles.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
He's smaller, but he bounces off the tackles in a way that
just like this.
It's like a pinball almost,
yes.
where it adds to his momentum forward, and he bounces off a tackle, and boom, he's going the other direction.
Going the other direction. He's a dynamic player. And then you have CJ, Carlton Thomas, another freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Just again, he gives you a different dynamic. He's got great vision as well. Georgie, great vision. He's a more elusive inside runner, whereas Georgie can give you the inside, but he's looking to take off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you have the bear himself and Omar Davis. All he wants to do is size somebody up and run him over and keep running over the next guy, and he'll get in the end zone. He'll make his own hole. But again, all three guys, pad level, and this is not even talking about Charles Clark yet because he's not out there. You know what I mean?
Who Charles was poised last season, everybody, if you remember, before Charles got hurt, was poised to have one of the best rushing seasons in Vineland High School history.
And when he comes back, I'm going to tell you something right now. This young man is salivating to get back on the field. Once he gets his clearance from the doctors and we go ahead and put him on protocol, watch out because Charles is the total package. I mean, some speed. He's going to give you tough yardage inside. Vision, phenomenal. And he wants to run over people too. But he's not the size of Omar, but he still wants to run people over. So he runs with a grit, with a determination, unlike a lot of other backs, and his vision is phenomenal. He just sees the hole before it happens, hits it, and he's gone. And again, if we need tough yardage, it's easy to call on Charles. Easy. Just let Charles get that tough yardage. He's going to get it. So that running back room right now, T.O.'s just loving every minute of it. Not to mention Jose Phoebus. He's in there getting tough yardage, at the fullback position. And I'm very proud of him. Like I said, he made that switch from offensive line to fullback. He shaped his body well, and he's picked up that playbook. So, again, all our running backs are doing a heck of a job on that field. And, again, kudos to Davon Seymour for getting them ready for us.
And, I mean, the way that just the running backs performed on Thursday, again, it goes back to just making life easier for Elijah Calderon. When you have the versatility behind him to say, hey, I'm going to hand you the ball off, go get the yards we need. You saw one of the plays. Omar had maybe a traditional running back hits that, picks up maybe 2 yards because you're getting tackled by 4 or 5 guys all at once.
Yes.
Omar said, nah, I'm good. Get on my back. I'm going to carry you an extra 6 and got 8 yards and a first down. That was one of the hardest. I said we got to send that tape to Kyle Brandt because that was an angry run. We got to get him the angry run scepter because that's exactly the way Omar was running. It was that physical, north and south, old school, like smash mouth type of running back.
I don't know if you caught wind, but probably the second carry Omar had, he started to drift east and west, okay? I looked at that young man. I took my headset off, and I said, you're not an east-west runner. You put your leg in the dirt, and you're north and south, period. I don't care who's in your way. You're too much. North and south, do you understand? He looked at me, he said, because he don't really talk much. He said, and you saw all the difference. No more east-west. He's here, here, here. North and south, that's his forte. Just an angry runner. So we love to have him on board.
We're going to talk more Omar and talk about that tenacious defense and get you ready for ACIT on the other side. We're going to have a word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Guzman's Gridiron on Underground Sports Philadelphia. Hey, everybody, quick ad break, and I want to talk to you about our amazing sponsor, Allen Associates, returning for a second season here on Guzman's Gridiron. We are extremely thankful to have them on board with us for the 2024 Vineland football season. And if you are looking for a reliable and experienced insurance agency that caters to all your needs, look no further than Allen Associates Insurance Services. With over 6 decades of experience under their belt, they specialize in health insurance, financial services, and accounting. Whether you're a part of the public or private sector, they've got you covered. Their family-owned business currently helps upwards of 300 groups throughout New Jersey, providing them with the best insurance options available. You can easily learn more and access their services by visiting their newly renovated website, Allen Assoc, that's ALLENASSOC.com. So join the family and let them help you secure your future. Contact them today online or by calling 856-692-2250. That's 856-692-2250. Big thank you to Allen Associates for being a proud partner.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
And welcome back, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors. And Coach, you said Omar doesn't talk a lot, but guess what? He was our player of the game, and our player of the game this year is brought to you by the City of Vineland.
Nice.
Getting on board with us
Thank
this
you.
season. Very excited about growing our partnership at Underground Sports Philadelphia with the City of Vineland, getting them attached to this show, which is a huge thing. We talk about how, the city is behind these kids 110%, and to have that backing on this show means a lot to both myself and Coach Goose. So thank you to the City of Vineland. Thank you to Mayor Finucci and everybody at the city. And if you need to know information about the City of Vineland, the municipal calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. And that calendar is accessible at vinelandcity.org, and it's a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And Coach, our MVP, our most Vineland player, was Mr. Omar Davis. And we were joking in the booth, at home games, we need to have the Omar whistle from The Wire playing anytime he gets in the end zone because – man, is he a force coming at you. 2 touchdowns in this game. I think he had over 50 yards rushing.
Yes.
And just a, eye-opening, jaw-dropping performance from him because whenever he had the ball, he was making sure he was picking up the tough yards. I don't know if he had a run that was less than 2 yards in that game. It was at least 4 yards a carry, if not more. Talk to me about Omar and just the way that he makes his running back room so dynamic, and for him to be able to, put up 2 touchdowns in this game for you and really separate, yourselves from St. Joe's as the game went on.
Again, can't say enough about this kid. Omar Davis is just a hard worker. Quiet, very quiet. You would not think that a angry runner is like that. He's just quiet. He almost looks like very nonchalant. But then he gets the ball, and it's a whole different dynamic. I mean, again, all the little things T.O. preaches, pad level low, eyesight, awareness. He has all that. And then he has the other side, which is I'm going to make my own hole regardless of oh, you know what? There's two people in front of me. I'm making this hole, and I'm going right through both of them, and I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to keep it going downfield. So he adds a whole different dynamic to our offense, and like I said, we can't be prouder of that kid. And then this is a little hindsight knowledge. When that young man started as a freshman, he had trouble holding on to the football. He did. I'll be honest. But wow, did he grow his game. That ball is high and tight, in traffic, two hands. He's always protecting the football. And that's another thing that Coach Davon Seymour and T.O., he preaches to our kids, ball security. We can't do nothing if we don't have the ball in our hands, right? Ball security. So, I mean, at least, I want to say out of his 15, 20-minute period, he has at least 8 minutes of ball security. It's constant ball security. So, again, kudos, hats off to the running back room, hats off to Omar for really showing up in a really big way for us.
Yeah, Omar, most Vineland player, which you will catch all of our post-game interviews with the player of the game on our Instagram and the Vineland Football Instagram and various social media outlets, pretty much every single one, every single week, so definitely don't miss out on those for your post-game insights. And I heard, in your guys' post-game huddle and everything, Coach Hendricks saying, hey, offense, you showed that you can do it. Now we got to show that we can do more.
Yes.
How excited was he, coming into the first practice after that win, just to see what this offense was capable of?
Again, that man he was glowing. He was glowing because he knew that the kids are starting to understand his concepts. They're starting to go ahead and really take in and display what this man can really do when he has that drawing board at his side and he's coming up with these things along with his offensive guys. It's something special to see. And then when you take that written form and then apply it in true form, on that field, I mean, it's like a Rembrandt coming to life in front of him. So kudos to Coach Hendricks. I can't say enough about that guy. Him, and like I said, I know I made the right decision in him. I know I made the right decision in our DC and Coach Clifton Smith, and along with the rest of our guys. They're just top quality guys that are from this town. Most of them from this town. So.
And, speaking of Coach Smith, I know there's one thing he loves, and that's pitching a shutout. 0 points allowed on that defense.
Goose egg. The old goose egg.
That's one of his favorite things, to see that 0 up there. And he had a streak last year, too. I
Yes,
think
he
it
did.
was 9 straight quarters, if I'm not mistaken, of shutout
shutouts.
football. Streaking now, 4 straight quarters. Let's see if it carries over to this weekend, obviously. But I'm sure he was over the moon excited about the way the defense was playing. And I know he talked about, they left some plays out there. There was some
Yes.
moments that they should have had and they know they should have had. But to pitch a shutout in your Week 0 game has got to be a great feeling.
Again, excellent job. That man, again, I can't say enough about Cliff. He really takes his work, he wears it like a badge on the sleeve, He loves it, loves football. He's all committed to the kids. Him and Ryan, of course, we talked about this last year, right? Batman and Robin, them guys are they're different. Their mindset, the way they go about, chalkboarding up their X's and O's and really coming up with dynamic schemes defensively. Sometimes it throws me for a loop. Like I'm like, wait, make me understand what you guys are doing. And they take their time. They show me, they teach me. And I'm like, the light goes off. Like, okay, this is the same type of scheme that we had with this wrinkle. Nice. It just shows up in a big way. And you saw it in display again, Game 1, Week 0. What better way to start the season with a goose egg? So, again, we left a lot of plays out there offensively and defensively, and Cliff will be the first one to tell you, I love the goose egg, but, we got to get back to the drawing board.
He said too.
Yeah. And that's why, again, these guys, I know they're the right guys. Coach Hendricks, the same thing. He was like, I'm pleased with your effort. We left a lot of points we left it out on the field, and that's the truth. It's the absolute truth. So the kids know that. They're rallying behind all of us as their coaches, and we're really starting to move the chains, so to speak, in the right direction. So we're really happy.
And, you look at the
the veterans on this defense that performed in such a big way. And I think one of the plays that stood out to me, which there should have been a penalty called, and I'm sure you saw it, Mason was getting held like no other on the opposite side of the field.
Yes.
His neck was almost like
Yeah.
bent backwards the way that he was being held. But yet he has the skill and athleticism to reverse field,
Yes.
get all the way to the other side, and of course another penalty was called that shouldn't have been called, and if anything, it should have been offsetting penalties, and I know you really can't say anything, so I'm going to say it for you, because we said it in the booth. It should have been offsetting, if anything. But Mason had the vision and intuition to make his way to the other side of the field and prevent a play that, if the other penalty was not called, would have prevented a gain for a first down and had
Yes.
them in a fourth down situation.
Yes.
That was just a spectacular sequence from Mason to go from being theoretically penalized and what should have been actually penalized
Yes.
to make his way all the way to the other side of the field. You know, you're in a situation like that, you're going to be like, damn, that sucked.
Yeah.
Like, you know, to
Yeah.
get in a situation like that where you're being held and your body's being contorted, that's not fun.
No.
But Mason said, hey, I got to make my way over and prevent this from being anything bigger, and he did just that. That was, to me, just like growth point from junior year Mason Afanador to senior year Mason Afanador.
I love that kid. Mason Afanador is a great kid, great player, great football player. You know, he's gone through his adversity in his life, but he's made it through, man, in a big way. And you know, I want him to know that, you know, he has to keep that level of play. That's quality level of play. See, maybe the old Mason from last year would have lashed out when he was getting held and possibly gotten a personal foul penalty. You know what I mean? He would have got maybe ousted, ejected. Who knows? The new improved Mason says, okay, I'm getting held. It's part of the game. I'm going to make my way over here, and I'm going to still stop this ball carrier from moving forward. He's dynamic. He's a clutch player. I mean, interception towards the end of the game. The kid is a player. He's a football player, tough as nails too. Tough as nails. But now you add in the fact that he has his mind right and the way he's thinking about, you know, football as a whole. All right, you can't say enough about this kid. The growth is exponential from last year, and I just pray that he keeps that going, because if he does, there's going to be schools plural interested in that kid. Okay,
The athleticism is off the charts.
off the charts. He's a baller. He's a player. And I mean, I would say that about all our senior laden perimeter guys. You know, Muchie, you know, Saquon, Zay. I mean, just quality kids. But as far as Afanador, he's made such a stride in that aspect with his anger and things of that nature, and kind of quelling the beast and working within the parameters of the football game instead of being selfish, making a selfish decision that would cost us, the team, something later.
And that just shows he's gone on to become one of those veteran leaders for you guys.
Yes.
Speaking of veteran leaders, Noah Cruz, hell of a debut from him as well in the middle of that defense.
Flying
was
around,
just
Kyle. Flying around.
Unreal. The speed growth was the thing that popped off for me. Just the way that he was able to quickly get to his spot throughout the entirety of the game was an element I wasn't sure was in Noah's bag last year. You know, he had the strength and the physicality,
Right.
but now he's on that speed element where he's finding his mark immediately.
Yes.
And that's a lethal combination for a linebacker.
Noah Cruz is, again, program kid, great kid. We absolutely love him. Another one of those, you know, vets that's a leader, absolute leader. But he's molded his craft in something special, man. He really has. He's in the offseason, this man was running, getting his speed work in. He was lifting. He was doing all the intangibles that you need to have, you know, as a football player. And you see the fruits of his labor. You really do. Like, he's twice as fast to the hole than he's ever been. He'll hawk somebody down from behind if he needs to. He has that type of speed now. And it's all a tribute to his hard work in the offseason. You know, everything, I tell these kids, everything will come together if you work hard. You got to work hard for your goals, for your aspirations. You got to work hard for them. You know, and if you feel yourself getting comfortable, then you better get to working hard. Yeah, you better go right back to the old drawing board. Like, wait, this is easy. It shouldn't be easy. Practice should be hard. The game should be easy. You see, the off season should be hard so that the game gets slower. You see, so this is what this man did. He took it upon himself to better himself in the off season, and now you see the fruits of his labor.
And I thought the defensive line, too, in front of these linebackers was spectacular.
Yes.
The pressure that they were creating up front was like moving walls, and it was with ease. Yes. I was very impressed by just the exterior and interior of the D-line and the way that the pressure was being created to kind of just cause havoc for the quarterback of St. Joe's.
Again, Donnie St. Jean, Everton, Aiden. I mean, these guys are just dynamic guys on that line. They're using different moves to attack you, so you can't really adjust yourself offensively for what's coming. It may be a bull rush. It may be a counter swim, counter rip. It may be, a spin. They use so many different tools that, again, Coach Donovan Bennett, one of my former players, again, doing an excellent job with the D-line. Absolutely excellent job. Justin Diaz helping out as well. These guys are they're pouring in the knowledge to these kids that they need to go ahead and succeed at whatever position that they're playing. But that D-line is they're playing, rock solid. And this is without other guys. We have guys still on the side that are a little banged up. Zach Zavis. I mean, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right as long as our guys, first and foremost, stay healthy and stay within the scope of playing for each other as a family. We're going to have a special season, in my opinion.
Well, Coach, I don't know if you saw that. I tweeted it out and got a bunch of retweets from the local media and everything. I did a little research because I was curious because I didn't remember the last time it happened. This is Vineland High School football's first 1-0 start since 2017.
There was somebody special back then on that team.
Pretty darn special, if I do say so myself.
So,
He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, by the way.
Yes, yeah, Isiah Pacheco. That was the first thing that rang. And that group of guys was just, Ivan Hale. I mean, all them guys. I love them guys, man. They were just, Noah Sansalone. Just great guys, man. And so, but yeah, it brings that kind of feel, right? Let's see, Kyle. I hope and pray for these kids that they just keep on working day in and day out like they've been and taking everything a day at a time and a game at a time. We're not looking past anybody. It's ACIT this week, and that's the sole team on our radar, ACIT. We're not looking ahead.
Game week this week, obviously, is Saturday afternoon football. We're on the college schedule tour, if you will, to start the season. And coming off such a dominant win, 24-0 against an opponent who, obviously, it's not the St. Joe's of old.
Okay.
But, it's still St. Joe's. That is a rivalry. That is something that has been there in the years past. How do you prep a team like this coming off an opening victory for the first time in all of their careers to say, hey, let's enjoy it, but now we got to prepare for the next one?
Absolutely, and that was the message at the end of the game. I made sure I told the guys, I said, listen, it's great. We got a shutout. We accomplished our goal. We wanted to be 1-0 to start. However, you cannot become complacent. Don't settle. Oh, yeah, we won this game. Now do not get big heads because those are the teams that get knocked off real quick. None of these teams that we're facing are slouches, and that included St. Joe. None of them. Well coached by my brother Ron Dorsey and his staff. Just none of them are slouches. None of these teams. Okay, so if you go ahead and all of a sudden you let your guard down, well, guess what? You might get smacked awake again by the next team. So I told my kids, stay the course. It's ACIT. The win's done. Enjoy it. That's great. We're all happy and proud of you guys as well. However, short memory. It's done. Pack your bags, business bags, and let's look on to ACIT because, again, it's going to be another challenge for us moving into week 1.
Kind of a mini bye too with the Thursday game into Saturday to have that extra preparation early in the season. How nice is that, especially since school doesn't start until Thursday, obviously,
Right.
for the kids, and to have that extra preparation time. How pivotal has that been so far as the week has started?
It's very good because we kind of laid out the framework as far as install and film. So that was nice that on that day, and then everything's been flowing very smoothly from Tuesday on as well. So the likes of which I think that if these kids keep up the way that they're going and the way they're practicing, it's gonna be a special thing to watch come Saturday. Again, I'm not saying that we're winning or anything like that. All I'm saying is it's gonna be special to watch our kids grow from the last game. That's all.
ACIT, brand new program as well. Their first game in program history will be against the 1-0 Fighting Clan.
Mm-hmm.
What is the kind of mindset from the coaching staff, too, going into a game against a program that doesn't have much to really know about it outside of what you can pick up on a team? Obviously a tech school, so it's kids from different areas coming
Right.
in and everything. And, we all know any of those type of schools, they can get athletes.
Absolutely.
They have other sports teams at their school, but first time having a football program, what challenges does it present where there isn't any concrete film per se on a team that you're preparing for?
It's tough. It's tough because we're going by way of there's scrimmages. So it's kind of tough to gauge what they do in a game. But at the same token, I look at it on the flip side, which is our guys are they have that game history. Most of our guys, at least in the senior room, right? So it's nice to say that, but at the same token, it's like a catch-22. It's it's nice that our guys have a little more history, but we don't really know what this team is capable of yet in a game situation. So it's kind of difficult engaging some of their athletes and some of their their skill players and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I know that myself and my staff, we make sure that we, again, dot our I's, cross our T's. We don't overlook anybody. So we do game preparation as we would any other team. It don't matter whether they didn't play nobody or not. Whatever game film we have on them, we're going to go ahead, scrutinize everything. We're going to meticulously go over every little detail that we can together and pick out, again, their weaknesses, their strengths, everything we would do normally. So for any team. So, it's going to be neat to see what happens on Saturday, Kyle. It really is.
And, to have the players prepared, too, and not go into this with undervaluing the opponent. What is the message to everyone in the locker room to say, hey, they may not have program history, but they're looking to make some?
Yes. And this is, the key in what we tell them every day. Do not overlook an opponent. Whether or not they've played in an actual game, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's football. So on any given Sunday, in this case, on any given Saturday, you can get knocked off. Just because you're 1-0, you can't sit on that and be like, yeah, we're on king of the mountain. You haven't done it. And I tell my guys, you haven't done anything yet. You won the first game. That's great. We're very proud of you. But we've got to move on from that. That's the past. We're looking at ACIT. And again, the unknown is we don't really have no game film on them. We only have the scrimmages. So, hopefully the kids, and I know they will. I know they have been all week. It gets ingrained in their head, and they're poised and ready, man. They're like a salivating dog, man, over there over that dinner plate there. They're poised and they're ready to go ahead and take what they've been working for. They're ready to get paid again.
And on top of that, how nice is it for you guys as a staff knowing that, you mentioned most of this team has game experience. The whole team has game experience from week 1.
Yes.
Or week 0, I should say, that were active for this game and have played together as a team. They've won as a team.
Yes.
They've won on the road as a team. How important is that, knowing that they've so quickly learned how you can win together as a unit and you can win on the road as a unit? I think that is one of the biggest things for high school sports, is being able to go on the road and accomplish your goal. And you guys did that in week 0. You have that opportunity again in week 1 against ACIT. How much of a key is that early in the season, knowing that you guys can go out on the road, have a business trip, come back with a W?
It's invaluable experience, and we're road warriors these first 4 weeks. So we're on the road 4 weeks. The kids know that. It's nice again. We got that first road win, but again, we've got to carry that energy into this week, and make sure that we do everything possible here at home to ensure what should in our hearts, right? We want the W. We want that victory, but to ensure that, we have to do all the little things and practice to get us over that hump.
And I know we talked about it last year too, but with school starting and everything, you guys switched over the practice schedule already to kind of
Yes.
get that routine going already. But what is the message? As we record this on Wednesday, school starts Thursday. What is the message to the team with school starting and getting in that routine of school day, practice, and then game on Saturday, of just getting back into the swing of things with school starting?
And being so that I had my guys already last week start that schedule, these guys understand without school, you're not doing nothing on the field, So school's paramount. Everything else is coming underneath that, and that means your sport, which in this case is football. So we tell them stay poised in the classroom, handle your business in the classroom. Everything else, the football aspect is easy. Playing football is easy, but that you need the grades. And then we reinforce them with, if you want to play at the collegiate level, they're going to ask us for your transcript. These coaches are not, they're not fugazi. They're coming in asking for a transcript, official. They want to see your grades. What have you been doing for the last 4 years? And they're going to go ahead and scrutinize everything. And if they see a marking period that you may have fell a little bit, it might spark a little, interest, not in a good way. Like, they're going to ask me questions. Hey, Coach, what happened this market period with this kid? Do you have any hindsight in it, history on him? So, again, your actions, I always tell the kids, it's not what you do when people are looking. It's what you do when people aren't looking, you see? So we're not going to be watching you 24/7. You're in the classroom. Take care of your work and be a leader in the classroom. You're an extension of the football family. You better be a leader in the classroom as well, because we always preach we don't want followers. We have enough followers. We want leaders on this team. So the same type of message, being a leader, goes into that classroom aspect as well.
On the field too, getting ready for this week. You mentioned a couple injuries last week during the game. Take us through the injury report. How's everybody looking in terms of recovery-wise and getting back out there-wise? Because there were some guys that weren't active, obviously, for week 0, but what's the injury landscape looking like for ACIT?
Well, for ACIT injuries landscape, you still have Charles questionable. He's been dealing with that leg issue. You have Zach, another leg issue he's been dealing with. You have also the likes of George Figueroa, another leg issue. So again, all three of these gentlemen are all questionable. And that Dara, Miss Dara, and Mr. TD, they do great job for us. They do an absolutely wonderful job for us. Our trainers are excellent. So thank you guys for everything you do. Their assistant, they also have an assistant. I apologize, I forget her name, but she's a great girl. Rowan University, she's helping them out too. She's excellent. All three of them are doing an excellent job getting our guys back on the field as quickly and as safely as possible. That's one thing that I always tell, and we have that nice connection there with Miss Dara and Mr. TD. I always tell them when our kids are ready. Not, I need them this week. No. If you, in your professional opinion, feel as though our kid can go and he has the medical clearance to back it, fine. If you have any doubt, Coach, no problem. We'll hold off till next week. It's not a problem. Our kids are first here. Our kids are first, not football. You understand? It's a fine line between winning and losing not only the respect of yourself, but the respect of the kids. I'm not doing that. So my kids, their health is first. And again, TD and Miss Dara do an excellent job with that.
Preparing for ACIT, what are some things that you guys want to take from that week 0 win that worked really well for you, keep it in your back pocket, and, moving forward, have that at your disposal for the season and obviously for this week in particular. But what are some things that you guys picked up on the game, watching film afterwards, that, hey, we got to clean this up, we got to fix this, because we don't know what's going to be thrown our way, and we got to make sure that we're on our P's and Q's and executing at a proper rate against an opponent that has a lot of unknowns to them.
I know in talking with Coach Smith, he was happy, but again, he's very he scrutinizes his players very, 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 very much, to the point where, again, it's almost like an obsession. He wants everything perfect.
And that's
as long
because
as
he
Ryan
knows
too.
what they're capable of.
Yes, nothing negative, nothing like that. But him and Ryan want perfection, and we all do. But again, he's looking to clean things up defensively and make up for the plays that were missed last week. As far as Coach Hendricks and the offensive coaching unit, they also up front want to clean things up on the line. They want to clean some route running up. Of course, they want to clean some of the holes that Omar made, he made, okay? But it wasn't necessarily planned to go at that particular hole. So he wants to clean up some things in that aspect of the offensive game.
And we're going to take one more quick break. We'll break down more of the upcoming opponent, ACIT. We'll get into some alumni as the NFL season gets ready to kick off. And Isiah Pacheco plays on Thursday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens. College football's underway as well. We'll talk some college ball and a whole lot more. So stick around. You're watching Guzman's Gridiron right here on Underground Sports Philadelphia.
At the Vineland Municipal Utilities, we understand that when our business community thrives, we all win. As a not-for-profit utility, our reliability, lower cost of operations, and flexibility in meeting customer needs make doing business in Vineland beneficial to your bottom line. What's more, we are able to do so while maintaining our commitment to environmental stewardship. We look forward to helping you achieve your business goals now and for years to come. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
And welcome back, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors, Coach. ACIT, again, we were talking about just the matchup and everything, but what are some things that you guys want to accomplish in this game where, a 24-0 shutout on paper looks fantastic for any team, but what are some things that you want to grow and learn from that game that are carrying over as expectation and kind of accomplishments that you want to check off for week 1 against this particular opponent in ACIT?
I really want to check off the box of playing a full game, mistake-free football. If we can really hone in on a game where it's mistake-free football, these kids are really they're going to be tough. They're going to be a tough out, man. I'm telling you, because they have the makings of something special. But again, nothing's going to be given to them. I always tell them, don't get big heads. Nobody's going to lay down and just give you a win. So if we can really cut down on mistakes, that would be big. Another big thing, of course, for myself and the coaching staff is selfish play. We cannot have selfish play. There was a bit of selfish play, right? Last week, one of our players did something very selfish, cost us. We have one in the chamber, so to speak, right? Cost us, an ejection there. He won't be traveling with us at all. And again, I won't mention his name, but he learned. He really did learn from that. Made sure that he apologized to the team and such. He apologized to myself, the coaching staff. He made a mistake. And he knows what's in line for him as far as moving forward. So that's a message to the whole team as well. But other than that, those two things, if we can limit our mistakes and play mistake-free football and no more selfish play whatsoever, we're going to be a tough out, Kyle.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for Saturday. We'll mention some stuff about Saturday towards the end of the show, but do want to get into
our alumni as well. College football is underway. Coach, it was a wild weekend in college football. Last time we spoke, it hadn't really gotten underway, but those Rutgers Scarlet Knights, what a win to kick off the season, 44-7 against Howard. Obviously, Tyreem's still rehabbing from injury and everything, and he should be back relatively soon from everything I've been reading, which is good news for him and for Rutgers, obviously. But that's one heck of a statement win for Coach Schiano and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, 44-7. And what a drive at the end of the game, too. You know, they're up 38-7. You feel like it's going to be like kneeling the ball down. No, that's not how Coach Schiano plays.
No.
He went right back down the field. They scored another one because Coach Schiano believes in score differential, apparently, and they win it 44-7. And that's got to be a great feeling for them as well, a program that is in the Big Ten, that has absorbed most of the the Pac-12, I'm sorry, that, you know, it's a different conference now, and the more wins you can rack up in that conference, the better off you're going to be.
Right.
Big time win for Rutgers.
Again, hats off to Coach Schiano and his coaching staff. They do an excellent job with them kids. I say it every year. He's a guy that really hones in on all the little things. He pays attention to detail, and it shows come game day. He's on the money. Everything is spot on. Bang, 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 bang. So, you know, that keep chopping. They were chopping all the way through the game until it hit zero. So, again, kudos to the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Coach Schiano and his staff they do wonders with those kids, man. Keep it going.
And, I mean, you know, we have a number of former Vineland High School football players playing at the college level now. We'll have to conjure up the full list because I feel like it's over 50 players now.
We have the likes of some good numbers going into college, and I'm very proud and happy to say that you know, at least under Coach Russo's watch and my watch, you know, of course he has a lot more players in the college ranks than I've had in my last, you know, year. But I was with him, so we can say together collectively we've sent some numbers to different schools, and a couple of those guys went on to be really special, and Jamil Demby and Isiah Pacheco. So Tyreem Powell, he'll be out there. He'll be wearing those 3 letters NFL on his chest. That's a guarantee. That kid is special. He's always been special. He's just a great young man. He's really developed himself into an all-around just great football mind, not just player. This kid is a mind out there. Like, he's directing traffic. Do you understand? He's out there directing people where to go, what to do. Bang. He's just a great mind, and I wish Tyreem Powell the best. But we'll be at that party. So, we'll be at the draft party, Tyreem. I'm telling you right now. Tank, we're going to be there too. Reese, yes, we're there.
Tank playing at Marist.
Yeah.
Very excited for him to get his collegiate career underway. And just last year's whole crop of seniors that most of, if not all, are playing at the collegiate level as well, which is very exciting. Gavin Gallo.
Patrick Gilbert.
Farva. How you doing, buddy? It stays.
It came back. It came back, Patrick. He'll love that. I guarantee if he sees this, he'll love it. But yeah, we have some players, you know, Greif, the Golden, Del Val, you know. I'm proud of all my kids, man. These kids deserve to go on, play at the collegiate level. They deserve all the great things in life because they're leaders. They're kids that are going to give back in a big way to their community wherever they are. Kudos to all of them, man. And like I said, there's a lot of them. Otis Harold. I mean, we could keep going and going, you know, with names, you know,
Levi
Shane
Manson.
Ecker. Yeah, Eli. I mean, it's just there's plenty of kids that came out of Vineland, at least, like I said. And I'm not, you know, negating any of the other coaches that came before Russo, because I know they had, you know, Coach Belfi had his group that went to college and played. Of course, you know, Parentazzi, God rest his soul, he had his group that went. But again, me being a part of Coach
Noah
Dan
Sansalone.
Russo, Noah Sansalone, you know, Bucknell. I mean, the list is heavy. The list is really heavy. You know, Naheem Anderson, you know, Rutgers, another Rutgers Scarlet Knight. So again, we have we have some dynamic players that went on to do some great things at the collegiate level, or are still doing great things in the collegiate level. Not to mention those three letter boys,
Or,
NFL.
6 of them are on the sideline with you right now, giving back to the team that built their football love.
Yes, I mean, Donovan, T.O., Shelton. It's unreal.
Henry
Marcelino, Henry Garton. It's unreal, man. The number of kids that have gone on to play at the collegiate level, and then have the wherewithal to come back to their city and give back to the kids. These guys are top notch, man. I wouldn't trade them for the world. They're my guys, period.
NFL season gets underway Thursday night, and who better for primetime than Primetime Pop?
Primetime Pop. I like it. Yeah. Pop is going to do something special. I know he is. Thursday night, listen, watch the game. Watch the Chiefs go against those Ravens, because I think we're going to see the full arsenal of Isiah Pacheco. I said it before. There was one of the funnies that I got. I don't know if I ever mentioned this story to you. So when Pop got drafted, right, when he got drafted and he went on to the Kansas City Chiefs, that week there was these tweets going on, right? So this, that at that time it was the receiver. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Fast. Now he's in Miami.
Tyreek Hill.
I apologize, Mr. Hill. But he wore number 10, right? Kudos to him. This guy says there's only, a fan. There's only one real number 10, and it's Tyreek Hill. How dare you disrespect that jersey number? Well, it kind of did something to me. I really don't do the social media thing, but I answered very short. I said, with all due respect, that man did a business move. They did not retire his jersey. There's no disrespect in any way, shape, or form. He wanted to go for the money. He got his money in Miami. He's happy. But he didn't retire number 10. He didn't retire it.
Right.
Which is available still to another special number 10. And I ended it by saying, what's going to happen is all you non-believers out there that wear Kansas City Chiefs apparel are going to be screaming, "Let's go, Pop." And what do you see in the stands? "Let's go, Pop." That's it. He's special, man. So there was no disrespect to Mr. Tyreek Hill at all. He's an unbelievable football player, period. But there's another number 10 that took that jersey because it was available. It wasn't retired. And that number 10 is shining right now.
And he went and ran with it.
Ran all the way to the bank with it. So I'm very, very proud of Pop. He's gonna have some eyes that are gonna just pop out of their skull when they see what that full arsenal of what Pop can really do. He's so dynamic. People have no idea yet. But I think that the Chiefs understand his dynamic ability and are gonna put that to display this season.
And, they have wide receivers now, which is only going to make Isaiah's game that much better.
Who do you guard, Kyle?
And he's your number 1 running back for the first time in his career. There's no Clyde Edwards-Helaire kind of blocking him in his rookie year. There's no other, Jerick McKinnon's there, and that's no disrespect to them. But now you're going to have RB1 Isiah Pacheco ready to rock and roll. And sure, he's got his guys behind him. They signed Samaje Perine and everything. But that's a compliment back to what Isaiah's going to be able to do. They're two totally different players.
True.
And it's going to be awesome to watch. And congrats to Isaiah's teammate Travis Kelce and his brother Jason for resetting the podcaster contract market there. Kudos to you, gentlemen. I thank you for that as a podcaster myself. $100 million contract for new heights.
How about that one? They do a great job. I like that podcast.
It's a great show.
It's just you see the brotherly love, between and no pun intended, right? But you see that brotherly love between them. They're just dynamic guys, and I mean the way that they go about their show is just. It's quality, man. It's quality. It makes you laugh, and the way they bring about each player or topic is just it's interesting. It catches your eye. So keep up the good work in your show. But yeah, who do you guard, Kyle? Kelce?
Thankfully, I'm not the one doing
Rice?
it.
Pat?
Xavier Worthy is coming in now.
Who do you want to? All right, you take away Kelsey. Well, there's Pop. There's Rice over there. Pat, the Magic Man. He has the ball. What are you going to do?
Passes behind his back
He's
he's Allen Iverson.
Good luck this season with these guys. I mean, they all they did was level up. I thought that, normally on an off season you kind of lose a couple guys, right?
And you have the best coach in the NFL going right now.
Fourth best offensive line in the league. I don't know.
And they're going for NFL history. No team in the NFL has ever three-peated.
No.
And they're on the road to potentially do that. And I think the way that the league is lined up, the NFC is the more dominant overall team conference, where the AFC is the more dominant quarterback conference.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the best one going, it's kind of hard to knock them off their pedestal, and they've got a nice road ahead of them. Obviously, that's why they play the games, but it wouldn't shock me if we're seeing Pop in his third straight Super Bowl come February.
Listen, if they Jordanize, and I patented that, I'm going to patent that word.
Copyright,
I'm going to patent
trademark, patent pending, Guzman's Gridiron 2024, all rights reserved.
If they Jordanize this season, whoa, never been done, Kyle. It's never been done. So that would be absolutely spectacular. And again, Big Red leading the pack. Andy Reid is phenomenal, man. I love his growth. His growth is phenomenal too. He's not a one-trick pony, man. This guy is like, he'll go back in time and start researching it. Well, what did I do here when I was with Mr. Belichick and the boys? And what did I do here when I was with this? He was with so many other elite coaches that it's just like
Green Bay to Philly to Kansas City.
Whoa. And now it just all comes together into this beautiful work of art. They're going to be something special to see. So I hope they do Jordanize this team and make it a three-peat. I really do. That would be fun to watch. Very fun. Even though I'm a 49ers fan, I'm going to say that again. 49ers Nation, man, I love you guys.
Hey, congrats for getting your guys back to work.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. But, of course, I'm going with family all day if it comes down to it. So.
And, hey, if they end up three-peating, that just means the City of Vineland's attached to it.
150%. And you know what? I think this year, if that happens, there's going to be a lot of flights to Kansas City from here. Right from Philly, right out of there, right to Kansas City, and there'll be a bunch of violent people going. That's almost guaranteed.
And that would mark 4 straight Lombardis coming to Vineland.
That's special,
Vineland's had
man.
its own three-peat of Lombardis already.
Yes. Isn't that weird?
Could be a 4th.
That's when you really think about it, right? You want to talk about positive platforms. I always talk about your show as being this positive platform for our kids, right? And what it leads to possibly in the future. In Pop, I said it since he was in 8th grade. I know other people said it as well when he was young. Oh, this guy has the makings of something special, elite, NFL. But now it's like there's this trophy lineage now. Started with Denby, LA Rams, then Pop blows off 2. There's three Super Bowl championship here in the City of Vineland. 3. Possibly, like you said, 4. If that doesn't show you that platforms like this get positive exposure for our kids, it's about the kids. It's not about, somebody, having a chip on their shoulder or having some gripe with someone else. Be a man, be a woman, and stand up for the kids. And if you're truly about the kids, like this man here, you're going to go ahead and expose these kids in such a special way, in such a great way, that it leads to so many opportunities for these kids. So let's keep on exposing these kids in a great way, giving them that great exposure so that they, I don't know, I'm just thinking out of the box here. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but when they go on to play collegiate ball and they're giving them, pressers like this, they can answer the questions a lot better. They can freely go about expressing themselves in a good way.
They become
Why?
Tyrone Powell
Yes.
hosting his own podcast
Yes.
with a teammate of his.
And if you don't think he wasn't looking at you, if you don't think he wasn't looking at, Jamil doing his thing with his like, you got another thing coming. They see things. They're like, oh, I like this idea. Let me run with it. I was on, the Kyle Bennett show. I was on his Underground Sports show. I was on it. So let me utilize this knowledge that I took from him, even if it was me talking to him for a little bit, but watching how it all got set up. Now I can do my own thing. I mean, again, please, community of Vineland, stick with your kids. Do what's best for your kids, man, and put anything else to the wayside. Let's make this show. I mean, Kyle's excellent at doing this show for the kids. Let's make it that much more of an exposure event for these kids if you're really, truly about the kids.
And it all started with Lou Picone, too, back
yes.
in the day.
I mean, that gentleman.
Don't get a street name named after you for no reason. He paved the way for
literally
the Jamil Dembys and Isiah Pachecos to get to that NFL level.
And that man is a stand-up guy. When I met Mr. Lou Picone, just a great person, a great soul to talk to, down to earth. We'll talk to anyone. You know what I mean? Just a good, honest, good-hearted guy. And he deserved that. He deserves that. He put his time in. He traveled from NFL team to NFL team. I mean, this guy, he was an NFL player for real, because he traveled and did well in different teams. But again, he did pave the way for the likes of Jamil, the likes of Pop, So again, man, I just hope and pray that, the City of Vineland, its community really rallies behind, shows like this that are, again, giving positive exposure, positive press to our kids. There's no, deceiving factor. It's for the kids. We wholeheartedly want what's best for the kids of Vineland. So thank you. Thank you again. I'll keep saying it till the day I'm out there somewhere, with the big guy. But you do an excellent job, man. So keep it up.
Appreciate that, Coach. And obviously, it's great to have the City of Vineland on board with us as
100%.
well, backing our student athletes and this program. And, Coach, ACIT, 1 o'clock p.m. on Saturday afternoon. It will be hopefully live stream. I apologize. We didn't know off the rip for week 0 that it wasn't going to be live, just with the setup and everything. And unfortunately, we were not given the proper Ethernet connection for where the stadium was. It wasn't like it was out of school, so you're only given so many, opportunities to have the resources that you need, and obviously the home team is going to take precedent. But as far as I know, it will be live streamed on the Vineland Public Schools YouTube channel. Myself, Rich Scarpa, on the call, and our awesome executive producer, Doug Diola, making the magic happen in the brand new truck. Tune in. It's going to be an awesome game. I'm excited to watch a brand new team for the first time as well, and watch you guys continue to grow from week 0 to week 1, and we'll see if Coach Smith's shutout streak continues, and see how Elijah Calderon and the rest of this offense continues to progress. And hopefully next week we're talking about a 2-0 start for the first time, and we'll do some research there. But 1-0 for the first time since 2017 are the Vineland High School Fighting Clan football team, and we'll be talking hopefully about another big-time win next week, Coach.
Let's see what happens, Kyle.
Make sure you guys are following us on social media. It's at Underground PHI to keep up with everything Underground Sports Philadelphia and Vineland Football. It's at Vineland FB on Twitter and at Vineland_football on Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast. You'll get it on both the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast feed and the brand new Guzman's Gridiron feed. Subscribe there. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. And then this show premieres video-wise every single week on the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. It will be nice Thursday 6 p.m. debut with the Saturday start. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. We read the nice comments on this show.
Absolutely.
So let us know your thoughts on the game upcoming. And, of course, if you want to get notified whenever videos go live, click that bell icon as well. You get a notification on your device of choice. But this has been another edition of Guzman's Gridiron, presented by the Red and Gray Gridiron Group and Underground Sports Philadelphia. We'll be back next week following ACIT and getting ready for a somewhat familiar opponent in Eastern. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you next week.